KD7ZYM monitoring.
ZYM, this is WW7N. How's the audio on this side?
Heading.
It just got the ing of that word.
Full quieting.
Standing by for net, WW7N. Testing.
Good evening, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of radio amateurs that go with fast scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain, transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. Before our net gets underway for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, we'll take a brief pause in case somebody needs to make an emergency contact or a contact before we get going. And with that, again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 repeater. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. So far we got checked in WU7N James, and I thought I heard K9PQ Bob. Is there any others? Hearing none, let's go up to James, WU7N.
I too heard Bob tonight, and what's on the screen right now is Echo Link, and I'm also doing a little test tonight with my power supply on my audio circuit to see if, as the evening progresses, if the audio deteriorates. I was trying to also see if Echo Link was working tonight. For the last couple nights, it hasn't been. So let me give it a shot and see if it's there at all. This is interesting. The 08 repeater is not even listed in the Echo Link directory as it normally is. I guess that kind of answers that question. They still have the 441.55 listed there, but I don't see anything for the 08. Well, anyway, that's it for me for this round. And Dave, if I could ask at this point, how's the audio?
Your audio is full quieting, 100%. Very good. Your image coming through on 1.2 is favorable, and I can't seem to reach the transmitter myself with my own radio here in Lake City, so I don't know, something's moved around. I'm going to have to do some antenna jockeying, I might say. And this is Dave, KD7ZYM, Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. Well, it's been a nice day today. Got some yard work done, some domestic chores, and sit back and listen to a little music this afternoon. So that's what's been going on in my life here in Lake City. Again, is there anybody else like to check in to the net?
PQ, I thought I was already checked in, Dave.
I got you there. I didn't get a call back on you. Go ahead, Bob, K9PQ.
Okay, well, you just said you thought you heard me, and that was all I heard, so here I am. Okay, well, I'm glad I'm making it now. I'm on medium power at the moment. I might try it on low power, but I'll leave it here for now. And I'm getting my video gear set up. Hopefully, I'll be able to get that in, get an image up. So give me a moment, and maybe hopefully Ron will be with us. I'm not sure I'll be able to switch the video, but I'll give it a shot. And I'll send it back to you for now. Can I pick you?
Bob, well, we got good audio coming from you through the 08 repeater. That's going good tonight. 3 times I've been on the stream, and it has shut itself down. So I've reinitiated my computer to see if that comes up, and it seems to be working again. Repeater putting out pretty good at 1.2 gig, what I'm observing here in Lake City. And my transmitter doesn't seem to, I can't get a picture out. I think my antenna got turned around in the wind in the last couple of days, so I'll have to readjust some antennas. That's what's on my list to do. So let's go back up to James, WU7N.
I had something to show tonight, and I know there's only 3 of us here, but I thought this was just kind of fascinating. You know, I'm kind of interested in the medium of photography and television, and how humans interact with it. And actually, I got this from an economist who sends me things now and again. And what this is, if you look on the left-hand side of the picture, that's sort of the German view of an event, and that's what showed up in their media. The German Chancellor is confronting the President there, but then here's what's interesting. And then to sort of how the Japanese viewed the world, then you see the Japanese Prime Minister is kind of in the center of things. If you look at sort of the French view of the world, then the French Prime Minister is the large figure on the right. That's what showed up in their press. And then, of course, in the center again is how some European press showed things with the German and the French person in the same event. Interesting because it's kind of a window looking from the outside looking in. And I'm not quite sure whose viewpoint that is. Maybe somebody from another planet. I'm not sure. Picture that we showed up in the Japanese press, which of course shows the Japanese Prime Minister predominantly in the center. Anyway, that last picture was a small joke that he sent with it. So anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know if that's of interest to Bob or to you, Dave, but it's the same event from different camera angles and then what showed up in the various kinds of media. I thought that might be of interest. So this is WW7N, back to net.
WW7N, yes, I was able to see your pictures with good clarity this evening. So now let's see how Bob's doing. K9PQ.
Okay, I've got everything set up. I got to mute this here. I have not tried switching over to streaming yet. I can do that now, Dave. Would you like me to do that?
Give it an attempt.
What do you see there, Dave? Do you see any change?
Negative. I'm seeing the same blue screen.
That's interesting because I'm actually getting not too bad of a delay on YouTube, and I'm seeing it on YouTube. It's my color bars. I'm now switching to my image. So it's coming through YouTube, but I guess it's not coming on the output.
I'm seeing your color bars now on streaming, and they're a P5 quality.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear that that's got my well this time. So, yeah, that was interesting, James. I didn't get quite as good a look as I would like because I was getting myself set up, but I got the gist of it, and yeah, it's interesting. My brother had an interesting experience similar to that when he went to visit China. He's been leading student groups to China for some years now. So this was maybe 10 years ago, maybe more. But the interesting thing to me was that when he asked them, or when he sort of got the feel of what they were thinking about of Americans, it was that they didn't give it a lot of thought. They were more interested in what was going on in China. So I found that interesting. Back to you, Dave, K9PQ.
Thanks with that comment, Bob. You know, interesting being in the media at times and shooting press conferences for other countries, which we have a tendency to do at times, and, you know, all the other countries want to see their honcho on the tube and what they're doing, and they don't particularly care about what's happening here in the U.S., but they just want to see what's going on with their individuals. So it's kind of interesting with that. As we are interested here in the U.S. is showing who's active in the U.S. roles. Anyway, gosh, the sun's still shining bright, and solstice starts, I think, tomorrow. So the clock starts running down now as far as brightness goes. So this will probably be the longest evening of the year, and the clock reverses and starts a countdown again towards those wonderful 4 o'clock in the afternoon darkness issues that we have in late December. So that's what's happening here. So let's go up to James, WU7N.
Thank you, Dave. I've got a signal up just of Windows, pretty boring there. Try and get something a little better up. Boy, for anyone listening and wanting to see what we do with the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, be sure and use Google Chrome or some other browser, because I accidentally brought up Explorer just now, and you can't get anything on our stream when you use Explorer. A version of Windows 7, and the Explorer might have outpaced Windows 7. They may not support it, so that might be the explanation for that. And I see, for some reason, when I tried to bring up something more interesting, I brought up the same cartoon that I showed a couple times ago. Bob, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but the caption reads, Dale entered the clearing and discovered standing together the Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, and Jackie Onassis. His camera jammed. And you can see this is a 90s era of cartoon, assuming that cameras used wet film back then, and it was not uncommon for the film to jam. I just find that cartoon hilariously funny. Someone had mentioned to me the other day that they had seen a piece of wildlife in our neighborhood here, and they couldn't get their cell phone camera out in time, and that same thing happened to me. I saw a very, very large bobcat, and by the time, it was 2:30 in the afternoon, and by the time I got my camera out, the bobcat had disappeared into a hedgerow. That I found recently, just to remind me that I live next to a green belt, is on the hood of my car. I found a little tiny vertebrae, and I'm assuming that something had lunch on my roof, and it was up there for a while, and then the rain finally washed it off and somehow made it to the hood of my car. But a fairly large vertebrae, much larger than any bird, almost maybe like cat size or raccoon size, I'm not sure. But anyway, that's life when you live next to a forest. So that's it for me for this round. WU7N. Back to you, Dave.
WU7N. Well, as a photographer, I can tell you a lot of experiences that didn't get captured. But let's go on to Bob, K9PQ, and I did see his image on the streaming after the bars. I'm getting a pretty good, about a 15-second delay.
Switched over again. Switching from bars to my image. I actually did see that cartoon before that you showed, and I like it as well. And it is funny, they talk about, I was interested in sort of amateur photography, and they said the most important thing is to have your camera with you. And while I agree with that, I think the next, the even more important thing is to have it out in your hand all the time, which I won't do. But I think real serious photographers do that. The ones that do like street photography and stuff like that. I'm more of the set up the scene with the tripod and all of that. That's more my speed. But I do enjoy wildlife photography, but that's just catch as you can. Mostly I do birds because even when one bird leaves, usually there's another one around somewhere. So that's about wildlife photography the easy way. Okay, let's see. So no Ron, and I guess no Lee tonight. But I'm glad we got something going. I think probably might as well make it a short one though tonight. I think we'll talk ourselves out pretty quickly. So, with that, I'll send it back to you, Dave.
Thanks for that, Bob. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, being in the media and behind a camera I tell you, a lot of things go wrong. We had our wind-up film cameras, and what would happen is when you put the roll of film into the camera, it's a 100-foot load and the hand cameras, and that gives you about 2 3/4 of a minute of recording on film. But once you put it into the camera, you have to advance it about 5 feet, and that the overlapping film protects the upcoming film that hasn't been exposed yet, so that's all done in the dark inside the camera when it's closed. It had been going pretty good in life, it seemed like, until I got a new electric hand camera, and it had a function that was the switch went off, reverse, forward. Well, I was up to a situation covering an individual from the Black Panthers that had shot himself and was going to the University of Washington Hospital, and so I was in position to take the picture. I had the camera in the off position on the electrical switch, and I flipped it down one. Well, you guess it, that was reverse. As I'm filming this scene, you can hear the 5 feet of film going back, rewinding itself, then going ka-chick, 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 ka-chick. And my excuse basically was I didn't make it there in time. But some of the embarrassing things that happened. Then we got into the world of electronic cameras, and that was very interesting. They had a power saver module, and you click the go button on the record, and it would go automatically. But you could also take a switch, and you'd be on standby. And this was like if you were waiting for something to happen for a long time, you'd have to take it off standby and then put it on regular. And then when you pressed your recording button, it went. If it was in standby, you had to click it once, wait 5 seconds, and then click it again. It was just sort of a built-in safety feature in case you forgot to put it back on full run. You could still capture things. And so I lost a lot of things on double-clicking at times. I thought I was recording and it wasn't. So things like that happen. Hopefully not as much as you want, but there are all kinds of issues that happen with cameras and catching things. However, the latest cameras that are out there now for television news will record an image up to a minute and a half while your camera is fired up. And what can happen with that is when you press the record button, it goes back in memory and storage, back times the image before it's recorded on tape or chip. This minute and a half is recorded in ROM inside the camera. And so you can be waiting for a wall to collapse on a burning building, and then as soon as you see the wall crumble, all you do is press the record button. The camera goes back a minute and a half and then starts recording it on your media. So a lot of times that's how you see these wonderful scenes that happen in fast-moving news, that it was the storage in ROM that actually made it happen. So that's some of the horror stories. So let's go back up to James, WW7N, and maybe we'll make this a 7-3 round.
the technology certainly has advanced. The thing that you mentioned last with the news cameras, that must be, and I'm just pure conjecture on my part, but that must be how the security cameras work that detect motion. Because I've seen footage that where it's setting an alarm off or something, the camera, yet when they go back and look at it later, they've got full motion for a little bit before the motion actually tripped the camera. So maybe there is something going on there too, where it's recording the image ongoing all the time, and then when the alarm is tripped, it reaches back in time 30 seconds to that ROM and gets it. Radar up just so we'd have an image for anybody watching us on the internet, and this is an interesting weather picture to me. You were talking about weather earlier, Dave, because you'll notice the flow is from the northeast to the southwest, and that's not unheard of in Washington State, but that's just different. Usually weather comes in from the south, and there was a little thunderstorm cell that we must have been just catching the edge of it earlier, I don't know, about an hour and a half ago, because I had raindrops on my car returning from the gym. But of course that cell could have been as far as 50 miles away. So anyway, that's, I guess, my 73s here, 8:23 p.m. Pacific Time. This is WW7N. I certainly appreciate you and Bob turning out for the net tonight, and I'll turn off my video signal and turn it back to you, Dave.
Well, thanks for being here this evening, James. Let's go to Bob, K9PQ.
Well, James, I also thank you for being here, and let me get my video switched in. Well, so Dave, well, first of all, James, I think that's very clever thinking on your part. And I think you're absolutely right about the security cameras and the motion detector, and it would make sense for them to design it that way, but it never would have occurred to me. And I'm impressed you thought of that, and I think you're actually exactly right. And my one comment for you, Dave, is with the amount of money they spend on those video cameras, you'd think they could have enough digital storage in there that they could just have it running all the time, basically. Or, from when you get in the car or something, so that you basically never miss a shot. With the amount of storage, the amount of compact storage that's available, I don't see how they couldn't have that. But maybe because of the quality level, it would just even still take too much storage. I'm curious if you know about that or what your thoughts are on that. Other than that, I will say my 73s, and yeah, thanks both of you guys. Oh, there's Ron. There's Ron. We got Ron joining us. So, okay. Well, maybe we won't be 73 round. With Ron, we were just wrapping up, but I'll send it back to Dave, K9PQ.
Ron there, let's come on, join us. Ron, K9PQ. Moving over to KD7QKU. Ron, but not getting any audio.
On the wrong frequency. Anyway, gee, I hope I didn't get in the middle of those guys. Let me go check. Hang on a minute.
And while we're taking a pause, we'll get an ID in here. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM, and we're pausing for Ron, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU. Yeah, I started talking right in the middle of the other repeater, and geez, I looked over there, and the S meter was over, like someone was having a conversation, and I had the volume turned down, and I wouldn't have heard them. So I went over and apologized. I don't know if there was anyone there or not. I didn't hear anybody or see anybody, but I apologized anyway. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. I just turned the computer on. I don't know if Lee's here or not. Gee, I'm sorry I didn't get here sooner. One of you guys should have given me a call, I guess, or something. So anyway, back to net till I find out what's going on. I'll get my computer on here in a second. KD7QKU.
Hey Ron, this is Dave, KD7ZYM. Just been sort of throwing stuff up with public relations and how different countries cover the media. And we were talking about RAM that's built into the new cameras that are on the market that you can set back to 1.5 minutes when you fire them. When you hit the go button, it actually goes back and gets that 1.5 minutes from RAM, and then that's the entry point on your recorded media that you, removable media that you use remove from your camera. However, that removable media reason of not having it on all the time is it's about $800 for an hour's worth of recording material inside the camera, so a little bit on the conservative side. Turn the camera on as soon as you get on location, and you still have to focus the camera and turn it on the object that you want to record, or at least in that direction, to make the image appear. So that's what happens with that. Anyway, that's what's happening here. So we'll move it back up to James, WU7N.
Comment?
Go ahead, Bob.
I just want to let Ron know who's on. I think that's what he was asking. So it's just Dave, James, and myself right now, and we were just finishing up, but now that you're here, we won't. So back, I guess, off to James then. This is Bob, K9PQ.
Update. U7N, James, are you there?
James, WU7N. Since we were kind of regrouping there, I didn't want to step on anybody. It was pointed out to me when I listened, actually I attended a class, and the subject of the class is probably not that relevant, but how annoying. A lady that was quite elderly, she did a cameo appearance for a movie that they were refilming, and when she had done it, she said that the camera was they literally were like half the size of a Volkswagen Bug, and this camera right here, this Panavision that I guess you can see on the left side of the page, maybe a little bit, that's not ideal, you can see the little kid looking through it, it's the size of a small child. She hadn't been on a movie set in quite a while. She asked, where's the camera? And she said it was this little thing about half the size of a loaf of bread. So I don't know what if anyone on the channel has had any experience with what they're filming movies these days, but I'd be interested in that. So anyway, this is James, WU7N, with throwing out that question to the group. Back to you, Dave.
That, James, they do use smaller cameras now, and a lot of the stuff's on a boom, so they can move it around. It's called a jib. It can be electrically operated to go up and down, and then it pivots around 180 degrees. The camera is located in a gimbal that the operator controls. Generally, you have one person moving the camera, and then the other person is doing the focusing and the zooming if that's needed. So, in the motion picture industry right now, they use a small camera called a Big Red, and it's about, about 4 inches by 4 inches by 5 inches. But then again, the lens that you stick onto it, the lens can be almost 8 inches long. depending on how many millimeters you want it, if it's a zoom lens, and if it's servo-operated. A lot of things have happened. If you noticed, the new 4K cameras that they have on these drones that all of us can buy, really high-definition video, and that camera is probably about 1 square inch plus a lens, and they use generally a fixed lens that's probably no thicker than a quarter of an inch and very lightweight. So all things happen with the advancements. We're seeing 4G right now. There's now, it's up to 8 now, so it just keeps growing, and 16 is the next step that it'll have for definitions that it can capture. Anyway, that's what I get from keeping up with some of the stuff that I still get in the mail from the different motion picture groups and equipment. So that's what's happening here. So let's go to Bob, K9PQ.
Let me get myself switched over here.
Your audio is phenomenal. It sounds almost broadcast quality.
Oh, well, you know what? Let me try it on low power just to see how that's going to be. So let me try that. Low power. Can you notice a difference, Dave?
Slightly. It sounds fantastic. I've never heard such good audio.
After having trouble with the antenna, I took some care to try to put it in what I thought would be probably the best position, and it sounds like it worked. So I'm glad. Yeah, this is the best that switching the repeater has worked. Oh, sorry, I forgot I'm actually on video. Here I have my back to the camera. That's good. That's good news. So I guess I've got the antenna in a good spot. And I was going to also mention the red. I had heard about that, and even I don't know how many sort of like serious professional movies, but I know that people are even shooting on the Canon 35 millimeter full frame cameras and have shot some things on them. Now I don't know. I doubt that would be good enough for a movie that you'd watch in a theater, but I've heard of some professional things being shot on them. So it's interesting. The state of the art is certainly changing. Also, I just wanted to mention my cat, Sparky. I love her, but she's not the smartest thing. My last cat loved tape measures. To him, that was a toy. I'd do the tape measure out, and then I'd let it snap back, and he'd chase it, and he loved it. I thought, okay, she's a kitten, she's going to love this. I tried it, and it scared her, and she's been scared of it ever since. And I had it sitting here on my desk next to me, and just kind of fiddling around, I just pulled it out and started to pull the tape out a little bit, and she went running, hid under the bed. So, that's my cat. Back to net control, K9PQ.
No, they do use a lot of those 35 millimeter cameras for capturing movie scenes now in full-blown motion pictures that you're going to the box office to pay money for. They're not used as the main camera for the whole shoot, but as a portable, sometimes point-of-view camera. And from Bob, let's go on to Ron, KD7QKU.
HYB.
Hear you out there, HYB, I got you down.
I am in the group, KD7QKU. Well, I just sent Lee a text, and he's turning his equipment on. We'll have him on here in a minute, so it sounds like we have quite a few now. Sorry, like I say, that I was late. I guess Lee was home. He hasn't got his Skype turned on yet, but hopefully he will in a minute. We'll put him on. I guess I don't have anything to comment about cameras. I don't know much about them. The cat and the tape. You know, it's sort of funny how some things scare animals and other animals, you know, are intrigued by it. Our cat's kind of the same way. You pick up a bottle, you know, that's a squeeze bottle, you know, like water or soap or window spray or something, you know, and that she runs like the dickens. Boy, I think maybe somebody has squirted her with one or something. So it's funny how animals react. Okay, Lee's there. So let me go back to net and I'll go get him on Skype.
Hey, Ron, do you want to put him on now, or do you want to, you need a setup time?
Put him on now. Longer than I thought it would. I'm sorry. Maybe you can go ahead and talk to Gary until I get him on.
KD7QKU, KD7ZYM here, and glad to have Ron join us, and it's great to have Gary come in, and we will be joining. So why don't we go to Gary, K7HYB.
ZYM group K7HYB. How's the copy, Dave?
Those 95% full quieting, good signal on audio, and seeing your picture coming back down on 1.2 gig.
That must mean you're making. At least I haven't lost anything. Let me put the white shot on here. And, yeah, I had a busy day today. One of the local churches right down the road from me here, I don't have a signal. Okay. My picture is not queuing up the repeater. I'm surprised. Not enough light then. There we go. Okay. I think I've got it now. Guess I'm not getting enough light in the background there for the repeater to key. So, let me do the mug shot. See if that helps any. There. Anyway, yeah, I was up early today. My son and I, he was going to take me out for breakfast or take me out to lunch for, let me drop it here, for Father's Day. They're going to be in Wenatchee tomorrow, so he couldn't do it tomorrow, so he and I went over to a car show over here at one of the local churches. They have one every year on Father's Day weekend. And it was quite a deal. I had a beautiful day for it. And they had 300 plus cars and probably 50 or 60 motorcycles. So it was quite a show. A lot of probably $1 billion worth of cars out there. That deal. Some of them were very expensive. A couple of them were for sale. I saw a Shelby Roadster over there with the Ford V8 in it for $82,000. Just pocket change, you know, for some of these guys, for the amount of money they spend on these cars. We talked to some of the guys that owned them, and man, I can't tell you how much money they put into those things. Anyway, that's all I've got. Let's let's give Ron a chance to get Lee in here. And it's good to talk to all of you. It's good to see you. Good to see you and good to be seen. KD7ZYM, K7HYB.
K7HYB, thanks with that. Let's go back to Ron, KD7QKU, and see if he has Lee available in 7KC.
Okay, Lee, go ahead. You're on.
Okay, very good. Well, this is in 7KC. I'm Lee. I'm in Port Angeles, and I must confess that it was just about 8:30 when I woke up. Paula's got a big bucket list, right? And she's been wanting to go to Soda Hot Springs for a long time. We got up this morning and it was just blue sky here, just a beautiful, beautiful day. So we lit out. We had some errands to do this morning, so we didn't get started until about 11 o'clock to go up there. And in the course of this, she decided, let's hike up to Solduck Falls. And, it's only 0.8 of a mile, but it's some elevation gain, and these old bones just aren't into that too much. Well, I did it. I kind of got my second wind, and so I got up there to say it's very spectacular. I've got a lot of video of it, but anyway, when I come home, have some dinner. I lay down on the sofa. She went to her mom's place over here to visit her, so I didn't set an alarm. Didn't think I'd need to. Woke up at 8:30, come run down here. Just as Ron was texting me, he was going to get on the net, so it worked out. Hi to Gary, Dave, Ron, of course, and Bob. I saw you on the stream just as I was tuning up here. I have no echo link tonight. It won't even connect to the machine, whatever that means. I don't know what it means, to be honest, but pretty confident my equipment's okay. Ta-da, what else is going on? Oh gosh, not much. Was sailing yesterday afternoon and the day before that. So I've spent 2 afternoons this week out on the harbor. A lot of fun. Going to be a fair amount more of that, I think, coming down here. I got 30 seconds left. I think it's better quit. This is N7KC. I'm Lee. I'm in Port Angeles, third party with Ron and Skype. And back to Ned.
KD7QKU, back to net.
Well, thank you, Ron, for bringing Lee in through Skype. Image was pretty fair. Well, could make that out. Again, I'm transmitting, but it doesn't seem to be doing any good tonight, so I'm going to have to readjust some antennas here in the future. So it's great to have a group together tonight, and, we'll go back down to Gary, K7HYB.
KD7ZYM in the group, K7HYB. Yeah, well, I'm glad you came back quickly because I wanted to address Lee's concern about connecting to 08 on Echolink. I'm set up here for Echolink also, and I've done a couple of test runs, and I don't think it's your problem. I think it's something to do with up at the site, because even though the Echolink says that I am connected as through the network, I don't get any indication that I'm connected to the repeater, and I cannot key the repeater or talk through it. So I haven't, that's just my experience with the 08. I tested the same thing with 9.6, and it seems to work fine. So apparently there's an issue with the internet connection or the accessibility for the Echolink at Cougar Mountain or Tiger, one or the other. I don't know where it comes in at, probably Tiger, and then it microwaved or linked down to Cougar. Don't really know how it works, but whatever. Anyway, so I wanted to tell Lee that that's what my experience was. Last week with Echo Link, and I've had little or no success in trying to hook up to the 08 machine. One of these days I'll try it. I'm still planning on getting one of those streamer devices like Bob's using. I'm in the process of trying to collect from a couple of customers. And when those checks come in, I'm going to buy one. I got one queued up on the internet. So that's all from me for this go around. Dave, you pass it around there. K7ZYM, K7HYB.
K7HYB. Oh, just make a note that 08 is an RF machine right now. So it's working fine, and it's serving our purpose anyway. Let's go back up to James, WU7N.
Yeah, I'd just like to point out, echoing what everyone else has said tonight, the 08 machine, usually, I don't know if you've got the resolution to really see this or not, but usually you can search on DME. Now the only repeater I can see is the 441.55, which is the Red Cross machine, or machine that's used for Red Cross Net, at least on Tuesday night. The DME-R used to be up there, but it's not even listed anymore. So I don't know if that's what similar results everyone else is getting or not. This, I just did a search while people were talking here on the big red camera, and this image right here, again, I don't know if this is shows with enough resolution to really see it or not, but this kind of looks like the setup that Dave was talking about on the left. Like there's at least two people, maybe more involved to operate all that stuff. And Bob, your cat, okay, you've just got so many cool opportunities here for social experimentation with your cat. If it's afraid of the tape measure now, the all-time cat toy, of course, is the laser pointer. So if it likes the laser pointer, you can move the laser pointer closer and closer to the tape measure and see if you can teach it that the tape measure is a toy as well. What's up right now is a picture of a miniature horse. Just animal reactions I've ever seen to something I was just completely unexpected is there was one of these miniature horses, and it was pulling a little cart. As you can see, they're born and bred to pull coal carts, but nobody uses them for that anymore. The thing that set off the horse, and it just drove the horse crazy and it went nuts, was crushing aluminum cans in an aluminum can crusher shredder machine, and it makes a very, metallic kind of noise, and it just drove the little miniature horse crazy. Anyway, I talked with the owner. I said, I wonder if we could train the horse to tolerate aluminum crushing cans, and she just sharply rebuked me and said, no, she'll just keep the horse away from aluminum can crushing machines. Other interesting thing, just as cats have been bred to be domestic, these horses were actually just bred to work in coal mines, and you can see on the left there that the head of the horse is down. That's just the way they always are. That's the way they were bred, and that was, of course, to get in and out of narrow coal mine shafts. Hey, I lost my audio on feedback on streaming. Dave, can you still copy my audio?
Audio's doing fine. Your audio's doing fine.
Turn it back to net. This is WU7N. Back to you, Dave.
To that, James, let's go to K9PQ. Bob.
Get the video switched here. Okay, there we are. So, well, James, yeah, if I had more interest in training cats, I would maybe be interested in doing that. I did a little bit with my first cat, and I had some success, and I learned some. I mean, I haven't had a lot of cats. There are people that know, just regular cat owners that know much more than I do. But what I did learn is that, in my experience, cats, you want to train cats young, and you want to get it right the first time. Unlike dogs, it's sort of harder to retrain cats. And I just don't have the patience or energy, frankly. But otherwise that might be an interesting experiment. And that's very interesting about that horse with a head down like that. I never would have guessed that. I didn't really think much about the head being down until you mentioned it, and it's crazy. I would not have thought they would have bred horses I mean, I can see, in hindsight now I can see, but it never would have occurred to me they would have bred horses to actually keep their heads down in that way. Well, I think I'll go ahead and make this my 73 round, and I'm glad you guys all showed up, man. Oh man, I thought everyone had other plans tonight. That's a strange coincidence that we had Ron, Lee, and Gary all latecomers tonight. But I'm glad you made it, and I'm glad we kept the net going. So with that, I will say 73, and I'll be listening on out, but otherwise I'll just be here. And back to you, Dave, K9PQ.
K9PQ, KD7ZYM. Let's go on to KD7QKU. Ron.
Ron, KD7QKU. Well, I don't think Bob was able to turn the repeater over, so I went on and I turned it over so we could see him. I couldn't see him until I turned it on. I don't know, maybe he went to low power and then maybe he lost the capability. So let's see. So I don't have anything too exciting to say. I'm just trying to think of what. I put a new battery in the Jeep Liberty and had him I had a battery put in and I had him fix the cable. And then today I used the car for a minute and I discovered the air conditioner isn't working, and we're going to be going over to eastern Washington where it's warm, and I would like to have the air conditioner working, I guess. So maybe Monday morning I'll go down there real early and see if they can check it out. Darn, more money. Shoot, I've just been spending money. Okay, let's go over to Lee and see if maybe he's got something he can show us. And we have Bill on here too, KC5WFH. Show us something.
Very impressive. A big cataract up there. It comes down the Cascades and goes down through that. And I'm surprised to see it. Oh, that's... Okay, that's not the video because it's going out of focus. That's my Microsoft Live Cam. Okay, that's what's going on. Okay, well anyway, that's Solduck Falls. Up on the... you go up to the Solduck Hot Springs, and then you go on up, and that trailhead that we hiked up to the falls today. Yes, I got almost my 10,000 steps in on my Fitbit. I've got 9,665 steps today. Wow. Oh, I'm feeling every one of them. Well, anyway, I better say I'm down to less than a minute here. 73s. For the amount that I was on, I had a good time, so thank you for that. This is 7KC. I'm Lee. I'm Port Angeles, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Back to Ron.
Ron, WFH. I'll say hi to everybody. This is Bill, KC5WFH in Kingston. And waving a hand, and you guys keep up the good work, and enjoy the day tomorrow for the fathers out there.
If anyone wants to get on Skype with us afterwards, I suppose Lee and Bill and myself will be on Skype. I suppose maybe Dave will come over, Jim or Bob, Gary, anybody will be here. Okay, back to net, KD7QKU.
7QKU, thanks for that, Ron, bringing on N7KC and KC5WFH. And welcome, Bill, to our net. Let's go on down to Gary for a final K7HYB.
7ZYM and the group K7HYB. Just a final one before I log out tonight. Has anybody heard from Covington Jim or Rochester Jim, for that matter? They seem to be utterly absent from our check-ins here lately. Anyway, that's my thought for the night. Good to hear from everybody. I was having a late dinner. Had a busy day. Took a little nap. Kind of like Lee. Anyway, 73 all, and we'll talk to you all on Wednesday. KD7ZYM, K7HYB.
BJI.
Go ahead.
Guys, hopefully the repeater's working better for everybody. Sorry we're still on Cougar, but we did replace the receive antenna today, and it was a challenge in some ways that we didn't expect, but that's right, we got it done, and it seems to be working pretty good. It seems like everybody can get in okay. Link is still down. I did have it on the Echo Link antenna. It's not anymore, but I have to reprogram the radio for the link to work, so tell Lee we're sorry about that. I'll try and get up and do that and make that available again. But anyway, just figured I'd give you the quick rundown. So hopefully it should be on the air and working pretty good. I'm going to try and go up second weekend in July and fix 08 Tiger. KF7BJI, back to net.
BJI, thanks for that update. Everybody's been saying that they're getting a good audio signal out of the 08 machine, so whatever you did seems to be did it good. And is there anything from anybody before we button up the net?
Go my thanks for the work you did on the repeater. That's fantastic. I'm getting in on low power, and I was taking credit for it with my antenna, but it's much more likely that it's your improvements. I didn't do that much to my antenna. Thank you for that. This is K9PQ. Back to you, Dave.
Well, with that, the final. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'd like to thank the owners and operators of the 08 machine, the CTAC Repeater Group, for allowing the Western Washington Amateur Television Society to utilize the repeaters on Saturdays and Wednesdays between 8 and 9 o'clock for our voice channels. So I'll be signing off now on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Good evening all at 2101.
still on? This is James, WW7ATS.
For James, the first part got cut off.
Looking for WW7BJI. Rich, this is James. Are you still on? Contact. Bob, are you there? This is WW7ATS.
I am here.
Thank Rich for letting us use the repeater and also all the hard work he's put into that repeater. I was thinking, I'm glad he came on though, because this is where our brains all play tricks on us. You thought it was your antenna. I was thinking that this battery pack on this radio was shot and that my change in the power supply had made all the difference, but it's probably their antenna.
Sure it is on my end, because I haven't moved it since last week, and I couldn't get in last week. So yeah, this is a big improvement. Especially low power. I don't know that I ever got on low power. I always would go on one of my two medium level settings.
My 4 watts here. Let me try something. Can you copy me now? I'm putting out probably 100 milliwatts or so.
Still have a good signal. I would say that it still sounds full quieting to my ears, but just a hint of being a little rougher. But I mean, not enough to. I mean, it still sounds normal, really.
You guys really know how to put up a receiving antenna, because yeah, what I'm talking on right now is, I guess, about, I'm guessing here, 100 milliwatts or something. And before it was 3 or 4 watts, and the radio gets warm in my hand. So now that I know that, I can turn the power way down too.
Cool. Well, I'm going to head over to Skype, so maybe I'll catch you there. It's K9PQ, and I'm clear.